I'm going to introduce you to the boss, my boss. I'm going to introduce you today to who I honor as God in your interpretation of the name God, but I name it something else. Okay? Today, I will introduce you to the Shangri-La, and it's going to be thick, heavy subjects. So if you are an adult, feel free to listen, and you are responsible for however you think, and responsible to have control over your own thoughts in this matter. Where your maturity is based on your experience and based on you being open-minded. Teenagers and children are not limited because this isn't outside of being PG. But the first subject I want to talk about is the question that a lot of people may have, like, who is God? What is the purpose? What is the order of God? What is the directives that God would have for humanity or for mankind? The point is not about whether it exists or not exists in this subject, my Neos of America. No. The subject is not about what religion is correct and not correct. This subject is based on the issues that we are dealing with in today's Western civilization. And the reason why things are chaotic and everybody is practically fighting and eating each other. And you can't trust your companion or the next person to respect or honor your plate of food that you work for on a daily basis, because they're always waiting for you to do that just preparation and steam your food, cook it, bake it, put it together, and then they want what you have or try to take what you have. But one of the things that we need to focus on is several factors, and I'm going to get to those before I get to the meat of the subject and introduce you to the boss. Okay? A person asked me, how come I don't get into the politics and the cultural differences of child raising? Why am I not a part of trying to bring clarity to those certain situations that is much needed in the Western country? The reason why I don't is it's become a distraction, and whether you may agree or not, it don't matter. To me, it's completely irrelevant as to how we are going to move the country forward. Those are distractions to make you not see the reality that is before your face. Whereas when you are constantly chasing what they broadcast before you, you are overlooking the realistic life that is going on around you that isn't being highlighted and isn't being broadcast. Now, a lot of brown-skinned brothers and white-skinned brothers, they have somewhat of the similar questions and similar issues that you will be surprised about. But in most cases, sometimes the questions are different, such as some of the police brutalities, single mother homes, and the distortion between black women and black men versus white men not being able to find a decent companion or virtual woman on their behalf. Okay? And therefore, the neutral ground in between is to tell you and to be honest with you and tell you that it is not about the culture, but it is about the woman herself. Okay? But I'm going to bend a little bit over to the question about the black family when it comes to raising children or kids. Okay. Just for a moment, and I'm going to be lighthearted about it and leave it alone, because that's not what my channel is all about. All right. As a mentor slash teacher slash advisor slash whatever. Okay. I'm just a providing man. How about that? What I have noticed in certain areas of the country or in certain cultures, okay, is that the children that are able to have their parents actually stand there and participate in the child's activities or their life is usually going to be of a different culture. Okay. And what that means is when I am mentoring or I'm out there and I'm evaluating and have the opportunity to see myself when the children are outside playing, when they are skating, when they are physically active in any matter. Okay. The Mexican family will be there or they will participate. Okay. To a certain percentage. Right. Of course, every parent is not going to be physically active. You don't have time for that most times. Yes, you got things that you have to do. You got to go inside. You got to cook. You got to monitor all your internal issues as well as your external issues, so you don't have time on the often to babysit your children all the time. Okay? But generally, on the basic studies, they are going to be there either sitting in a chair or they're going to be active physically with that child, okay, and give them something that they can work with while they're outside playing or doing whatever that they need to do, okay? Same as some white children, that's still the same. The parents will be there, or they will be physically active themselves, or they will sit there and just monitor, okay? While I am teaching on the often, which when it's a good weather and it's outside, I'll pull the table outside, or I'll take the children outside for recess to play around, to get some, to vent their energy so they can concentrate on their homework when everything is said and done. I often notice that there is some black children in the neighborhood who is otherwise active themselves, but the parents are nowhere around. Now, this is not discriminatory conversation here. I'm not trying to tell you that white people or Mexicans and other cultures are better than black people. Don't get me wrong. Okay? I am not trying to attack in any degree. I'm telling you from what my experience is. Maybe your experience may not be that way. Your experience may not be like that. Okay, you may not do that yourself as a parent or as a big brother or a big sister, auntie or uncle. Okay, but what I'm telling you from my experience and what I have seen, oftentimes there will be a few black kids that's just running around in the parking lot or running around in the front yard, running around practically for the entire time where I'm teaching, or you could say mentoring the other students or kids. And I know this because they come over to my area when I am teaching my kids. While I'm out there helping them with their ball, teaching them how to make a paper airplane, how to fly a kite, doing all the big brother duties, the black kids will come over to where I am because they want that same attention as well. And I do not neglect them, nor do I turn them down. If anything, I'm looking around to see where their parents are because I do not want the parents to think that their kids are being preoccupied by a stranger, and that can be a very terrible situation to get myself into. So I'd rather the parents know that I am out there and I am not a stranger danger type of issue. But oftentimes when they are physically active, the parents are nowhere to be found. They're nowhere to be found. And these kids aren't teenagers like you think they are. You know, they're not like in their 14s, 15, 17. They're outside doing their thing, playing football or at the park. I'm talking about kids around 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12 years old. where the question is, where is the parent at? Where are the parents at? Where is the big brother of the family? Where is the mother? Where are they at the time? Okay. And I never spoken about this before, and I let it go because it could be a very fickle and touchy situation depending on what culture that you are. Okay. I don't get into it because a lot of people have a twisted vision and perception. They will try to get mad at Morpheus and think that Morpheus is talking bad about black people, and I am not. I'm only telling you about my experience. Your experience may not be my own. You see? So I'd rather not talk about it because people have a dark vision of reality, because most times we are programmed and trained not to hate truth, but it is definitely to hate truth, but to attack anything that's actually right, that's actually accurate, things that make sense, that all you have to do is sit down and just listen and learn from. Okay, and at least consider it to be a possibility. If you do not understand me, just consider it to be a possibility. If it's not you and your side of town, if it's not your family, consider this to be a possibility. If you don't want to accept it for what it is, you can't anyway, because you're not in my shoes. You're not me. You're not going around from town to town. You don't meet these people that I meet. So, of course, you can say Morpheus don't know what he's talking about. Okay, because you're not there, but I'm there. So just say, well, it's a possibility. Let me hear him out, at least hear what he has to say. Okay. Most times when I am out like that, no matter where I am, where I am in a business meeting, I'm speaking to someone, there's a collaboration or something of that nature. Okay. This is another thing that I also witness as well. If the black children isn't outside playing, are being physically active or running around or whatever they do without the parents' supervision, okay, they're not outside at all. They're not outside at all. They're inside the house, and you will see the white kids, and you will see the Mexicans or Chinese or Asians or whatnot or anything like that outside playing and being physically active while the parent may be sitting there supervising. Okay, you would see that reverse. It will twist around like that. And my question usually at that time, while I'm outside, is where are all the black kids? And the reason why I ask this question is not because it's something that is an all-time issue. It's just that I noticed that there are black people in the neighborhood. They are in specks. They are there every now and then in different areas because we see them every so often. So they hide in the house when the weather is good and everybody's outside. But when everybody's not outside, the kids are out there, but there's no supervision. So it's like a space bubble of their own. And it's somewhat of an awkward situation to be in, because most times their struggle don't necessarily come for the fact that they don't have the nurturing that they need. It's that their parents aren't really focusing on the needs of the child as they should. They're not really out there trying to be active with the kids and making sure that they are not getting in trouble, making sure that they are. Let me give you another example. OK, and you want an example of that. I'll go ahead and bring that to you. OK, when I was out there teaching, mentoring 3 of my kids. OK, and it was outside, of course, had the table out there and teaching them how to color, how to draw. Every now and then I'll let them paint, something like that. Okay. The 3 or 4 other black kids came around. They were, let's say, 10, 11 years old or something like that. One of them was on a scooter. Another one was on a bike. Okay. And when they came around, they wanted to play with my students at the time. But that was going to be a distraction for what I was trying to do as far as teaching them and trying to put them on a different track and help them out. To the point where the mother came outside seeing them standing there. Okay. And she told me specifically that she feels uncomfortable with them being around. And this was a black mother. Okay. This was a black woman who said this. All right. She said she felt uncomfortable that they were actually coming around. And I understood what she meant. She wasn't saying that she didn't like them as being black kids. Okay. She was saying that they did not have a tether to responsibility. they are liable to do practically anything because there's no supervision. These kids are too young to be out there making decisions on their own, where they can get in all sorts of trouble. Okay. And I can get in trouble, or we can get in trouble, because that's how innocent neighbors are, innocent people, innocent adults, even white people, innocent white people who may be doing the right thing can be considered as doing the wrong thing because the mother don't know what's going on. For example, if those black kids ran over there, okay, and I had one of my white friends with me, and he's standing there and we're having a conversation. What if the white friend had, who knows, maybe a pack of cookies or something like that, or teaching, or have paper airplanes or something, or firecrackers or something to give to the kids? Oftentimes we, as a team, we don't want to leave out any child, no matter what color that they are or culture that they are. So let's say that he bends down and talks to the child and want to give them, who knows, some firecrackers or something that kids are interested in during our classroom or something like that, so they don't feel left out, or a paper airplane. Okay. And the mother comes from nowhere. Okay. She runs outside and she thinks that we are, again, stranger danger. And she start assaulting us, telling us that we are wrong. Get away from my kids. Don't touch my kids. Who are you? You're a stranger. You white, or you black, or you Mexican, whoever that she would say, don't touch my kids. You shouldn't be bothering them. You are whoever, you are danger. You are a whatever that you are, to my children. Criminal before you are even considered as a name. Before you even have a name, she'll assault you first. Who you think you are. Okay. And therefore it will put us in a compromised position. It will put us in an uncomfortable, unfair position that we didn't put ourselves into. She put her children in that position. She put herself in that position. Okay. So I understood what the mother said, because she don't want to get involved in someone else's lack of responsibility. It's not the children. It's the parents. You understand? It's the parents. It's not the children. All right. So she didn't want to get involved. So I clearly understood her. So every now and then, and being wise myself, I would often tell those kids, no, you can't be over here. If you want to be over here, go tell your parents. Okay. You can listen. You cannot be over here unless you get approval by your parents. It's as simple as that. That's not racist. That's not bias. Okay, that's not telling the children that they are less than the children that I'm teaching, nor is it telling them that they are worthless, or they don't have any potential over here, or they're dangerous, they're gonna steal something, they're gonna hurt anyone. No, it is being respectable, it's being cautious, and it's also keeping a fair boundary against ourselves and the possible destruction that the mother or the parents will cause because of their lack of responsibility, and definitely ignorance. Definitely ignorance. That's how problems happen. That's how things get out of control. And then we hear all the time, and I'm not going to get into the messy tape on this audio. We hear all the time where there's complaints that black children aren't getting the attention that they need. They go out and they get themselves in some type of trouble, and then you never seen the parents. You don't know where they are, what they're doing, and you'll see them at the last minute when they should have been there the whole time. And the heartbreaking thing about it is, you would think it's mom and dad that will come out of the house. Usually it's just mom. Usually it's just the mother who's in the house doing Lord knows what. Okay, and she has a lot of other responsibilities, I assume, and I'm not going to tell you whether it's right or wrong, that she feels is more valuable than paying attention to where her child is and what they're doing 24 hours, 7 days a week. Okay. I've even encountered a time where, you would think in my, got a really nice house and a long driveway, right? And, very nice studio outside of the house that I speak to you with. And you would think that when a person sees my land and my part over there, they'll be like, well, I know somebody owns this. I'm not even going to be on this property unless I'm, a paper delivery person or Amazon or somebody. I'm not even going to mess with this guy over here or woman. I don't know who this person is unless they live in an apartment or the place or area. OK, so I get home one day And I don't have a gate to my driveway. So my driveway is pretty much open. It's open. And I'm not that type of person where I feel like, well, you're on my property, you need to get off and I'm going to threaten you and all that sort of thing. No, sometimes I like to evaluate things first. Some people, they need to use your driveway to drive in for a moment and pull away because they need to go to a different street. They need to turn around. They can't turn around, do a U-turn in the road. So things like that happen. But I get home and I see 3 kids out there playing hopscotch basketball or whatnot right there on my driveway where I had to get in. Okay. And before I pulled in, I noticed that there was a white kid and there was 2 black kids that were there. Okay. And before I pulled in, I noticed that the white mother was somewhere across the street and she was watching her child, okay, being over there and whatever that she was doing, whatever he was doing. And she said, "Get out of the way." I can hear her voice from a distance. She waving her hand, and the child turns around and look and jumps out of the way and moves because I'm getting ready to get in my parking lot. I got my turn signal on. Okay. And the other 2 black kids, they moved out of the way, but I didn't see their parents anywhere. I'm looking like, okay, I see the white person's, the white kid's mother, but where's the 2 black kids? I'm thinking, okay. And I'm just continuing to driving up the driveway. And of course, they gather their things and they move on to the next area and kept it moving because it took some time. I get out of the car. I'm just standing there looking like, okay, this is an awkward situation. Not too bad, not too good, not something that's greatly disturbing because you got to understand something about Morpheus. I tell you all the time, I evaluate. When I see something, I break it down to its very basic studies. So that's what helped me through life a lot of times. You'll be surprised that that's why I'm able to do what I do and speak as I speak and have the instincts that I have because I evaluate a thing. I don't take it for face value. When I see something, I do the 360. I do everything. I evaluate everything about the subject in a matter of seconds. Okay, then I break it down later on as I sit and evaluate or think about it. Okay. And again, it's another situation that I never talked about because of the black and white issue that we got going on in the country. Okay. This is why I don't speak about it because a lot of people have nothing but an opinion on the situation and they don't have that experience themselves, or they will try to attack me and tell me that, I'm racist or I'm out of my mind or I'm poisoned with a white pill or something like that. Because I'm only expressing and telling you my experience. Okay, I don't get into it because I actually see for myself that a lot of the children aren't getting the attention that they need from parents at home. And I always describe to you in a very lighthearted way. And I always give you nothing but the cream in the middle as the Twinkie, whereas you get the exact fact of the situation. When I tell you that it's all about the upbringing at home, it's mom and dad who is the creators of the next future or the next generation. Okay, I can't tell you how many times also. And here's another thing. And I'm going to start and I told you one of these days, I'm going to start making videos and pictures and I'm going to put it up here for you to see the events. And I'm going to have to block out some faces and, erase names and things like that because I don't expose anybody's business at all. That's never Morpheus. OK, whatever somebody's business is, that's their business. I keep it moving. OK, and let you see when I'm physically active with a lot of these kids. OK, when I'm physically active with them, I notice the difference of each culture and how they interact with their kids when they are, like, for example, on a birthday party. There was a birthday party for one of my clients' 12-year-old daughter. OK, and she took her to the birthday party and you have a bunch of kids there. I mean, they're in all ranges, practically everywhere. OK, and I'm thinking, OK, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to sit here and relax. I'm just going to go ahead. Maybe I get my cardiovascular in and skate myself. OK, and I get out there, do some monitoring, looking around. And what do I notice? Check. This is the terrible thing about it. And this is really what tips the scale here for me. This is what tips the scale here for me. I seen 4-year-old, 5-year-old kids no bigger than my knee, trying to skate, I'm not saying skating, trying to skate, okay, in the dangerous zones of the skating rink, right? These are black kids. Okay, I'm only being honest with you. You can get mad all you want to. I'm only telling you what I expect. These are black kids standing right there, and I would see them crying right in the middle of the skating rink. Some of them be like, "Where's my mommy? Where's my mommy?" You know, a few times I've seen one get knocked over, and they had to carry that. They call that, I don't know, they call it some type of trolley, something like that they give to the kids. It's a white type of, it's a skating assist that they give to children who don't know how to skate. You know, I've seen them on the trolley crying, looking like, where's my mom at? And who would come out there to get them would be the next in line, which would be the older child, not to 17, 18. The child which will go out there to retrieve the 4-year-old child will be an 8-year-old child, or somebody who's 7 years old, who practically don't know too much of anything and can't skate good themselves. So they grab the child and look around and try to hunt down and figure out where their parents are. Okay, you will have the Mexican kids seldomly go through the same thing, but the parents will be there. The parents will be skating next to them. Okay, the parents will be there, or the father will be helping their child skate. Okay, and you'll say, okay, what about the white kids? The white kids have their issue too. Well, I will be honest with you. It's probably one out of blue moon that I will see skating by themselves, but they would know how to skate, and the parents will be out there skating themselves with them. Okay, they figure if their children can't skate, they'll just skate by themselves. Their children will be sitting out. Or they'll be in some type of other skating rink with other kids that aren't going to run them over. But the problem of the matter is, where the parents are sitting down, the parents will sit there and watch their children. They'll watch. They won't go out there and participate. You know, they'll sit there and eat popcorn, nasty pizza, and they won't get out there and do what needs to be done to make sure that their child knows what they're doing. And they go off and do somewhere else, and you don't find them anywhere. I got a good idea where they are and what they're doing. Okay, but I'm not going to talk about that on this YouTube. Okay, what most adults usually do, they try to find a zone of escape. Okay, and their zone of escape is right between their lips most times. Okay, while their child is in harm's way. And most times those children get knocked over. They fall down on their knees and their face. All it takes is one time for these are big kids, too. They're 17-year-old, 20-year-old people skating around there. And all it takes is one time for your 4-year-old child to get knocked over by a 17-year-old teenager. OK, who's trying to show off. And then now the mother is mad at the 17-year-old. The mother wants to press charges. The mother wants to prosecute. The mother wants to get mad at the skating rink for their child being ran over by another child, but yet she wasn't out there monitoring or supervising her child. This is what I see. And it has become tasteless, and I've never talked about it in my audios. And I'm telling you right now, it's been going on. You got 70 or 80 something audios from me. Okay, it's been going on the whole time, and I've never talked about it because it's a touchy situation. Because people will defend their ignorance. People will defend their lack of concern for their own children, okay, and make excuses for it. Oh, I'm too busy. Oh, you're not a parent, so what? You don't know anything about it. Oh, it's too much work. It's too much struggle. No, we have the wrong type of people bringing kids into existence. Okay, we have the wrong type of parents, the wrong type of mindset when it comes to the future. And then we want to play the victim card. We want to say that people are racist. We want to say that people are, like, for example, those kids that walked up to us over there and the mother's like, I don't want them to be over here. You know, they play the wrong type of victim card. Now we're considered as wrong. I'm considered as an evil, strange man, you know, who's stalking on children when they walked over there because the parents wasn't supervising them and put me in jeopardy, put me in a situation that I don't need to be in, that have nothing to do with. And then I'm the bad guy when I tell them, no, you can't play over here. No, you cannot come over here until you get your parents' permission first. Now I'm evil. You see what people have to go through, and therefore the parents play the victim card. The parents go out there, they want to march, they want to start complaining and get mad when something happens to their child that they did not supervise. Or they're sitting down 350 pounds on the bench while their child's out there skating, their 4-year-old skating in the midst of being, possibly being paralyzed, breaking a bone or splitting their face right there on the hard wooden floor, right in front of everybody to see, while they're sitting there eating a bag of popcorn, watching their kids and not being active with them. And now they want to play the victim conscious card to the point where I think they try to do that on purpose. I think sometimes it's that situation like, well, I hope it happens so I don't have to have the burden on my hands. That's the condition, and it's upsetting at the time. So I don't talk about it because I'm able to witness and visualize these things, and it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame that a lot of parents aren't awoke or awake enough to understand that they are the sole responsible adjusters of the future. Now, the next subject is the Bible. I had an emailer, actually it was a couple of them, who were very religious, pious type of individuals. And instead of them listening to the lessons of what Morpheus is telling you, they wanted to be biblically correct than to be a listener of the message. And usually I don't care about these sort of emails. Usually I just let these sit and I delete them and erase them. Okay? Because it's irrelevant to the subject of trying to empower you, American people, trying to alleviate you. And before I get done with this, I'm going to tell you a little history on myself so to give you a little backdrop as to why I do what I do. I've given this to you before, and I'm gonna have to give it to you again. Okay, some of you already know. You are Neos already, and it's a no-brainer. But there's a lot of people who are new to this channel, and their finger is too lazy to go back to the first grade lesson that I've given, and they have time to complain about ignorant, insignificant things, but they don't have time to learn. We have plenty of time to bicker and argue about the 8th chapter of a book, but we're too lazy to go to the first chapter to understand what the 8th chapter means. We're so intelligent. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little backdrop a little bit to explain to you a little bit more about what I do. Okay, now the debate was to try to tell me that the Bible was either real or not real based on what's going on today. Okay, and I have exhaustively explained this to them or to you several times as it is. Okay, but again, unfortunately, we're not dealing with adult people today. Okay, we're dealing with those who are working with their indoctrinated mind. Okay, so let me make it clear to you once again. Okay, I'm gonna make it, maybe I have to say it slowly. For my emailers, first name started with an M, the other one's a J, the other one is a T. Okay, for you, MJT. Listen, men in that time, in the past world, they were real men. They knew instincts. They knew the opposite sex. They knew women. They understood their environment. They did what it required to stay on their square. Those type of men wrote down and jotted down ideas that made not only themselves flourish and better, but other men as well. In those days, men stuck together. Men had a standard. They had a protocol. They had a belief in a area, country, town, tribe, or vicinity, that there were things that needed to be done and did not need to be done, which will either destroy the town or to help the town. So they understood over time the position where everyone was at or needed to be to allow the town to flourish. Okay, so when it comes to some things like women's behavior, okay, and some of you may say it was God who tried to warn the people at the time about what's going on today that you may be re-experiencing or experiencing. Okay, what you don't understand is that it's the de-evolution of the day and age of people today. You de-evolved, you went downhill, you didn't go uphill, where the truth of the men back during those days were wiped away from your consciousness. Therefore, so you can have the ability to liberate, okay, the bad behavior or the mischievous behavior of those in your environment, your country, or your town. Therefore, that is why you are in a state of being in a westernized civilization where you cannot find a woman of virtue and you are in a broken family state. Okay? Because men have lost their place and their direction and being real men of the headstrong leadership and guidance where they need to be. Okay? That doesn't make the Bible true or not true as if an existence of a God or a space alien or a mythical Bigfoot. All right? What that means is whoever written the pages of the Bible, whether they are real or not, they knew the nature of women and family and what needed to be done by nature itself. Okay, so when we bring, what happens is during the years, we have created that to be a, what would you call that? How could I add the word to it? To be watered down and sensitized based on a religious mindset, based on superstition, based on talking about ghosts and demons and darker things that you don't see on an everyday basis. Okay. And bridging in the ideal of heaven and hell and sin, not sin, being raptured up and not raptured up, being left behind, and the mark of the beast and the end of the world and Revelation. The list goes on. All those things have modified the focus point to be a distraction point, whereas it didn't do nothing but pull you away from the logical thoughts that were there and available for you in your so-called religious text. Okay, because if you read it like a simple book, not as a religious context, you will begin to see that it was people who knew something in their time. So some of the things that they knew is accurate today because the nature of some people have not changed. The nature of some women have not changed. The nature of what will happen if you do a certain thing have not changed. That doesn't mean that you are a sinner or that you are not a sinner. And it doesn't mean that that's the reason why the nation is the way that it is because we turned away from a religious mindset or an indoctrination. Okay, because knowing the difference between good and evil, right and wrong is already embedded within you. If you want an example, let's go to the Bible for a moment. Let's go to it for one moment. Okay. There was a story between two brothers, and I think it was Cain and Abel. And you can try to break it down as you want to. You can be a book scholar and try to filter out the Bible and say that I'm, what do you call that? Saying the passage is wrong. Save that for your Bible studies. You can take that to another channel of people who care about religion because Morpheus don't. I don't care about it. Okay, your comments would not be heard. Okay, here, this is a lesson to be heard here and dealt with by using these ideas as an example. I didn't say facts. I didn't say history. I said ideas. So Cain and Abel was a story of Cain being you say basically a brother who wasn't blessed by God. Abel was blessed by God, which I really call it a fable, but Abel was blessed by God. Okay, whereas when Abel was able to burn offering to the Lord, it was accepted. It smelled sweet. It was like white, decent smoke. But when Cain burned something, it didn't work out right. It was very toxic, carbonated, and I'm pretty sure the altar would fall over. The rocks was just ruddy and no good. Okay, the fire had troubles even trying to set a flame. So he did not like Abel over time. Okay, Cain wanted to attack Abel because he was jealous of Abel. Okay, so over time, what happened was, and eventually, okay, he plotted to destroy Abel, and that's exactly what he did. When Abel wasn't looking, turning around, Cain picked up a rock and, as they call it, smitten Abel in the back of the head. Okay, now when this was done, two things happened in your so-called story of your biblical text, but of course I analyze it differently. Okay, Cain realized that he'd done something wrong. Now, either it was before there was a mark that was on his head, or either afterwards. Okay, I got to look into that, but I don't care. I don't stand near a Bible 6 feet anyway. So, that's something that it has to be the only book on the face of the planet, and probably then I probably wouldn't touch it. Anyhow, use it for kindling. So he immediately realized he'd done something wrong. He realized within himself, as the narrator, that's funny, the narrator, whoever was there witnessing this, the narrator of your Bible was telling you as a story. And he bends over and he begins to mourn that he realized that he did something wrong. Nobody told him that he did something wrong. He realized he'd done something wrong. All right. He realized it immediately. There was no guiding book. There was no officers out there. There was no billboard that said, "Thou shalt not kill." Nothing like that. It was just simply his instincts and feelings. He realized, okay, he did something wrong. His brother is not moving. His brother is gone. His brother's body has gone cold and he's not responsive. So Cain realized that he did something wrong, which was nature itself. Okay. And then, of course, you got the story. The second thing I was talking about, that's one thing that happened. The second thing was talking about how he got a mark on his head and, God shined down on him from the sun and stricken him. And he moved his hands from his forehead and his forehead was indented and, talking about he grew horns and. Okay. This is really, let's not even talk about that. Okay. I'm having a hard time talking about this because it makes me sick sometimes. Because it's just silly and senseless, and we take it for face value. We really run with it and say that this is really life. And because last time I checked, okay, when you find your wife cheating on you, okay, immediately there's not going to be a mark on her forehead. Immediately she's not going to reach retribution. She remains okay for practically the rest of your life. Even though she may encounter some physical troubles or mental troubles or something like that in the future, but she's not going to stand there and God's automatically going to mark her forehead. And when you see her, she got this big black mark there and she's like, "Oh, don't look at me." And she starts growing horns and a tail. Let's stop being stupid. Please stop being stupid. Please. Because if you're saying God was then, today, and tomorrow and never changed, then that means when Cain entered that situation, and he was immediately marked down by God. That means whatever that you do today, you're immediately going to be marked down. As soon as you steal something from somebody's pocket or something like that, you're marked down. Unless you're not caught at that particular time. There's been a lot of embezzling through the years. There've been a lot of people, or children, even steal toys from other kids. Okay, or stolen a candy bar out of a jar or something like that. You don't see them walking around looking like some wildebeest. Okay, but you say, well, God is not biased. God is yesterday, today, and forever. Well, then how come he's not walking around like a wildebeest then? But you believe the story of Cain and Abel, that he actually stood there and God marked his forehead and, he put horns on him and cursed him for the rest of his life. How are you going to curse somebody for the rest of life and say that they're going to be stricken for a mistake that they didn't know anything of? Remember, these was the beginning years of so-called mankind. So how is he going to be stricken in his innocent days? So that means in his years, even if he was like 32 or 40 during that time in the Bible, that means a child who's 7 years old who don't know that fire burns and picks up a bowl of fire and throw it on their brother and their brother's in flames, that child's going to be, stricken and cursed for the rest of their life. But the child don't know the effects of fire. Basically, that's what you're saying, because that's the beginning of humanity. And they didn't know much of anything as far as you read the Bible, because we're still in Genesis and Exodus. I think so, pretty much around that. And Leviticus, if it went that far. So we started from the first version talking about in the beginning was the word was God in Genesis. So they're talking about the beginning. The beginning was there. Let's stop the nonsense here. But let's go even further than that, because I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the instincts of knowing the difference between good and evil. Okay. And you saying that this thing is real is irrelevant. The point of the matter is there were people who did they realized the mistakes. They realized that there are things they did wrong and they will never do it again. So they start writing things to make sure that it wouldn't happen again, and made it into their idea of law and gave it to you and said it was the word of God, so that way you can abide by it, because who doesn't want to abide by an ultimate boss? Okay. But most times it was what? It was nature that led them to understand what they should and should not do. It was science. It was physics to tell them that if I create this rock boulder and I push it down a hill, it's going to keep going downhill with the inertia and gravity. Okay. And therefore they made documents of it and start writing about it. It wasn't something of a God nature type of thing. It was just basically nature and science. That's simple. And then what they did was write it down. So we're like, well, this must be the word of God. No, it's nature that we've forgotten about because we're so unnatural today. Because here's the thing, and it's kind of difficult to explain this to somebody who may be in the first grade. But check this out. I'm talking about mentally. Okay, I'm not insulting anyone's intelligence on here. I'm giving you an idea here that will be best for you to open up your ears and understand what I'm saying. Let me explain this again to you. Today, in the 2020s, okay, we are not the man that we used to be years ago. It don't matter whether it was real or not. Those were people at the time that made documentation to tell you what will be best for you not to do, because there will be consequences behind it. Okay. And then therefore today we have forgotten about those particular warnings in several ways, because the church wasn't about your empowerment. It was about your mental and spiritual control. It was about watering down the facts and making it to be a emotional display, and then tell you that it was wrapped in a package of God. Whereas now you're just in a religious mindset where you got to wear the finest suit, the finest shoes, and drive your cleanest Cadillac to impress nobody in the church, while you're paying the taxes and the, your 10% tithing and offering every Sunday that should be going to your children and your kids or somebody else's child. When all it was men who knew something that we don't know today. Men who stayed on their grind, at least for as long as they could, before they were wiped away. And now you have the new generation of the lesser type of men who are more indoctrinated than the ones before, and who have forgotten history and who've forgotten that fire burns. Now I got something else to give unto you with another emailer, and I'm gonna get off of that one because I love it. And this is what I love. I love it when I hear or I see someone who is able to they'll go by scripture to scripture. Like when this person emailed me, they had like a whole page of the entire chapter of what I was talking about in the religious text to prove nothing to me, because it wasn't his words. What I tell you about one of my audio, it's got to be, you're telling me, you're giving me something that somebody gave to you. Don't give me something that somebody else gave to me. Give yourself. When I write my book, 2020 America Rise and Fall Hard, I am the author of the book. I wrote the book. I stand behind the book. That's my creation. I'm not coming by somebody else's, what do you call that? Somebody else's, I can't even find the word, but somebody else's words, someone else's idea, someone else's function. This was my production. So when you hear my words, it is authentically from me. So I'm producing myself. You don't see anything in that book talking about in Genesis, Exodus, Chronicles, and the Quran. It said, in the Catholic faith, it said, and this over here, and the Buddha believes in, Buddha said this years ago. No, you don't even hear me say anything in there about God said. There, you won't find any passage in there. And if it is in there, I was probably drunk that night. OK, but I'm pretty sure you won't find anything in my book that said God said or Chronicles said or the book of the Bible said nothing. OK, unless I was analyzing it to break it down to give to you, not to use it as a reference. So therefore, when you are hearing something, you are hearing complete facts and truth from my mouth to yours. So when you're sitting here talking about, well, chapter so-and-so said, first verse said, in Ezekiel, chapter 1, verses 5, it said this. I'm like, what, excuse me. Wait a minute. Slow down. Wait, sir, excuse me. Wait a minute. Pump your brakes. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Hold my beer. Baby, hold my beer. Listen. Why are you telling me what someone else said and you call yourself an individual? You are the tool and vassal of someone else's opinion and experience of existence. When you wipe away that idea, when you put aside what the Bible said, what this person said, the pastor said, my mommy said, 12 years ago, my dad said, I'm not going to talk to you. You get no respect from me. There's no debate. There's no conversation. As a matter of fact, I'll just get up and walk away because where it said over here, but no, excuse me. But okay, I'm gone. I'm out of here. Okay, because I'm not talking to you. Listen, by that time, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to your indoctrination. I'm talking to the person who written the book, not you. And that's the case. I might as well read the book and not talk to you. If you want to be real, you want to be an individual, you want to be a free spirit, put that stuff aside and say, well, I said, but you can't say it because you wasn't there. That's why you won't find Morpheus saying God said, or, in the beginning of the Bible, it said, Revelations did say, because I would not be me by telling you something that somebody else written down. That's reading that's like reading poetry to you when you can do it yourself. Why would I tell you about something that you can figure out yourself? The Bible is free. It's practically everywhere. You can find it in your hotel somewhere in one of those dresser drawers. Why would you need me to tell you what the Bible say? Because I'd rather be an individual and be there first. Listen. What I tell you about my experience about these children, I'd rather be there and tell you my experience than to tell you about what somebody else said, because it won't line up. It doesn't line up to facts. It will not make sense for me to tell you what something else said or somebody else said if I'm not saying it myself in physicality and experiencing it. As a physical trainer, I'm there amongst many people who are out of shape, in shape, those who say, well, I don't care, I'm too tired. They'll sit there on the bench. They'll sit there on the bench and play with their dumb phone and have nerve enough to tell me that they want to get more muscle or they want to lose weight, but yet they're sitting there on their dumb phone for 30 minutes. So I'm physically able to stand there and see them do that. So therefore, when they come to me a week later, a month later, and they say, you know what, I'm having problems. I'm not getting any success in my gym. I can automatically say, well, because you are not applying yourself where you need to be. I said that physically because I've been there and it's more real than anything. It wouldn't make sense for me to stand there and say, well, the reason why is because then I go in my back pocket and I pull out my physical book and read about what other people say about physical activity, that's stupid. That's no different than standing and saying, well, in chapter 12, it said, what? I mean, it'd be like, who? I mean, what are we trying to do? Am I talking to you? Am I talking to the Bible? Or am I going to be talking to Ezekiel? Like, tell Ezekiel to come here and tell me about what he said about this situation. Oh, where Moses did experience this situation. And, I tell you what, you go ahead, get on your dumb phone, call Moses, tell Moses to come over here and meet me. And we sit down and talk about Moses' experience, because Moses was there. You was not. Do you get what I'm saying? You wasn't there. So why are you telling me about what Moses said? I don't need you to tell me about what Moses said. Who are you? You represent Moses? Are you Moses? Well, if you can't go get Moses, don't waste my time. Don't tell me about what Moses said. End of story. But I can tell you about what I said. I can tell you about what I put down. I can tell you about what I do because I'm physically there. So if I can't walk on water, if I can't heal the sick, if I can't sit up here and do all the nonsense that you believe in your religious text, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I wasn't there. This is when you get to the point where you are truly empowered. You're not being a sinner. Okay, you're not a false prophet if you start talking like this. You're not what they would consider to be, what's that thing that they say? An agent of the devil. You are being an individual because whatever that you stamp is your signature. Whatever that you say, it's your own words. You're not a peon, nor are you a puppet for somebody's indoctrinated program. When you want to see the author of a book, they're out there doing book signing. They're right there in your face. Would it make sense for them to say, well, I represent the author. I'm just here selling their book. She'd be like, where's the author at? Well, I'm going to put listen, check this out. I'm going to sign this book, even though I'm not the author of the book. You're going to be like, no, nah, brother, nah, sister, nah, brother. I'm not out here to sign. Why are you signing the book? You're not the author. You don't own the book. You don't have the rights to this. You don't have the copyright. Why would you sign it? Well, I'm the representative. I'm just going to tell you that, Danielle Silva made these books. Then I'm going to be right here. And I'm gonna sell the book in here. But wait a minute, dude, get up and walk away. You're not the author of the book. The author standing there, the actor, the singer, they're there signing T-shirts and they're signing baseball cards. They're signing whatever that you got, a profile or a picture, or maybe signing your forehead. They're right there in your face. That's when you can say, I've been there, done that. It's like people who go to a concert. They go to a Beyonce concert. They go to a Jay-Z concert. They go to when Christina Aguilera was in her high day. When Michael Jackson was out there. They would often say, you know what, Mr. C, it's a totally different experience to hear them on the radio than it is to see them in concert, or to be in the front row, or even the basketball team. These tall guys. It's one thing to be all the way back in the back bleachers, or to see them on TV. What do you call that? In one of the championship battles on TV, and you sitting there watching popcorn, eating steak, getting fat and sick while you enjoying yourself at the same time. You're back there, but you don't know the people. You don't see them. But it's a different story when you are in the front seat, front and center, and the basketball goes out of bounds, and that tall basketball player runs right into you, or run over there and slide in front of you, and you're able to grab the basketball and give it to them. There's nothing like that in your entire life. Those are two experiences altogether. Let's go further, because I like to nail this in. This is how I operate. This is how I do as a teacher. I like to finish it, debunk it, destroy it, and just let it go. So it's going to be fractured all over the place, because that's how much we need to face our truth and reality. There's no different than looking at a beautiful girl on a poster. It's the same as looking at a beautiful girl on the poster versus seeing her face to face. There is no comparison whatsoever. I don't care how good looking she is, and she's there in her bikini on this billboard, and you're like, wow, she is wow. You're lusting, you want it, okay?
You're like, the first time I meet her, I'm going to say, can we donkey dunk? Let's get straight to it. You got this mindset. You got it, right? But there's nothing like actually meeting her face to face and shaking her hand to see exactly what she look like, what she smell like, and how she really feel about you. And sometimes she may just have a nasty attitude. Or, she's just, distant, or she's shy, whatever the case may be. Or she might be very beautiful. She might be even better than the post. You'd be like, wow, in person, I can literally stand and just fall into a puddle and disappear, because you're that good looking. But you may have that experience as well. I'm talking about the way that she looked. Okay, I'm not talking about her attitude, mentality, whether she's a feminist or not. I'm saying just the experience itself. Okay, you know that it's different than the poster. So when you are saying my religion or my particular scripture is correct because somebody said it was correct. This is correct, but I was never there. But it's correct. It's correct because I'm just sitting here speaking based on what they said. It was correct because I'm going to be the responsible interpreter that it is correct, even though I wasn't there. But when you experience these things in your life firsthand, you're the one walking on water and you're healing the sick and you're raising the dead. Of course, the government wish you would, but you're the one doing that. OK, that's a totally different story and dimension altogether, but you're not. OK, and the day you do, sickness will be all over with and the nonsense will be done. But for the time being, we're driving on mythical tradition, which is nothing but the absorbent softening and watering down of the very fact and truth that it was just groups of people talking about simple things that really mattered. And in most cases, when it comes to the men in that time, they were giving you men warnings as to what will happen if you let your house get out of control. But because you have let your house get out of control, you are dealing with the same situations that they have dealt with. Because they knew better and you did not, because the truth had been coveted, manipulated, and mutated for thousands of years for preachers, pastors, and an indoctrinated program to make money from while you're sitting there being stupid for it. Simple as that. Point blank simple. If you can't handle that, that's your problem. If you can't handle that, go back to the church and start all over again. Sit there and let somebody tell you who you are. Go ahead and keep reading from somebody else's pages that you haven't signed nor have a signature of. This is your soul I'm talking about. This is your eternal life I'm talking about. Do you want to say that your eternal life is going to be in the hands of somebody else's words and idea of life, or do you want it to be in your hands? When you want anything to be in somebody else's hand, you're the passenger of your own car. You are the provider of your own ignorance. When you are the driver of your life, when you are taking things in by your own signature, when you are the author of your own faith. Oh, God's the author of my faith. Well, how? The author of your faith? Yeah, because you believe in something that you don't see. That's a very rich and productive way to put your soul on when your soul is the most valuable asset in existence. If somebody tell me that I have to put my soul and my life on something, you better damn well make sure that it is 120% accurate by your words, not somebody else's. When you say, well, the professor said, my mother said, this person said. No, what about what you say? Because you got all the evidence and all the life and all the messages before you. It's before you. But because you allow the indoctrination to blind you with emotions and with illogical thoughts, you can't get the messages, nor can you hear the instincts of what nature is telling you. There's another thing that somebody said. Let's go deeper than this, okay? Because I'm gonna get off this rant because there's something else. There's somebody else that I have to address here. Yeah, there's somebody else I have to address here and get to other things because we're getting too far in here. A man said this, and he said, "I'd rather
pass away in hopes that God is real than to pass away and find out at the last minute that God is real and be ashamed of myself or be shamed for all eternity. When I translate that, I look at a man who's not confident in himself. I look at a man who looks at himself as if he is made and born to be a follower in a pond. Okay. And in my expression and in my experience and in my knowledge and in my knowing, did I ever say faith and believe in all that? No, I did not say that. Did I just say that? Did I just say faith and belief for myself? I didn't say that. I said knowledge. I said knowing and experience. Okay. I'm going to live my life however that I need to and require to survive, no matter what. It don't matter whether your interpretation of God is real or not. I'd rather live my life believing, standing in, and okay, let's destroy belief. Let's backtrack here. Let me correct that. I'd rather focus on knowing, being experienced, and having the confidence in myself, in my life, in what is factual and actual, okay, than to have at the end of the road to find out that it was different, because at the end of the road, I really don't care because I did everything that I could to take care of myself. I was confident in my skin. And by that time, instead of that person telling you too late, I'll be like, no, you're late because I needed you the whole time. While I was out there building my kingdom, suffering, taking care of myself, doing what I needed to do to make sure that my family was taken care of, you was nowhere to be found. So now at the end of the road, the crossroads, you want to show up. Well, here's God now. I'll be like, no, I don't need you now. No, I don't need you. No, you go. I'm fine exactly where I am. Don't bother me. Okay, you got to have that confidence. That's the confidence that you need to have. If your soul and your life is going to be on it, you need to know that you need to be confident in your own skin. Be confident, say, well, I don't want to be wrong by saying that it don't exist. That's the last thing I'll be worried about. The thing I'm focused on more than anything is doing what I can to move forward, to supply life to myself in the truth and in reality. So therefore, if you are scorned, if you are ostracized, if you are talked about, and if you are a sinner for living in the circles of truth, then whatever that you believe in or whatever that meets you at the end of the road is false. That person is not God. It will be the devil. Because anytime you're in a circle of truth and in facts and you're only following life as the best that you know how, and you are providing for yourself and you are confident in the nature that the universe have given you, and you're wrong for doing that, whoever ostracized you and tell you that you're wrong for doing that, they are not for you. They are the devil incarnate. So you can't hear nonsense like what this guy, when he said something like that, all this came through my mind. I said, you know what? Just leave me alone. Walk away. You're walked off my list. I can't even see you as an individual. As a matter of fact, because you don't have any confidence in yourself, in your nature, okay, you're practically wasting my time. You don't mean anything to me because you don't mean anything to yourself. You got to know that you got to be a man of your own girth. Be a man of your own structure. Be a man of your own foundation. Own your foundation. Own the building. Own the structure. Own the boss. Be the boss. Own what goes in and what goes out. Not worrying about what other people think and, I'm going to be wrong if I do. Well, who cares? You're doing what needs to be done to move your life forward, because at the end of the road, it's nobody else's responsibility but your own. Not indoctrination or fear. Fear is for cowards. Fear does not fickle, nor does it stop a real man or a real alpha dude or somebody who is headlong leader and doing what needs to be done. Fear is pointless. Now I'm going to get to the second to the last part of this lesson here. And it's talking about women, okay? And only in a different passage. Not talking bad, just a little truth about your opposite sex, men. Oftentimes,
you will wonder if you did something wrong or right when you get ghosted, or when a woman decides not to choose you, but to choose someone else. When you're not getting any donkey dunk material, all right, oftentimes you may be struggling, or you may be turned upside down because you can't find a good companion anymore, or a virtuous person, or you can't find that person who at least will appease to your manhood. She'll understand you. Okay, this is what you want. Let me give it to you. Okay. I'm going to give you a red pill on something here. And it's called the awakening. In this generation now, in the Western world, women are beginning to know, they already know that, but they know now even more so how powerful their body is. Okay, to the point where now they're bold, they're confident and bold enough to use it against you. Okay, where if they know they can get something out of you, if they know, and first of all, let's put it like this: women know who the simps are. Okay, let's put it like that. They know who they can go and get. When they say, well, when you leave out, there's somebody else who's going to come in right behind you. They are right about that. When they say, well, you cheat on me, I'm going to cheat on you too. They're right about that, and they will be able to cheat on you very easily. Okay? Because they know their power. All right? And they know that there are plenty of blue pill simps that they have already lined up. They know the difference between a blue pill and an alpha. Women aren't stupid. They know the difference between, they know the difference between red pill and blue pill. In the first few minutes of conversation, when you say, hello, how are you doing? You shake hands. When y'all start talking, okay, if I would give her tops of 20 minutes. After about 20 minutes, she already know whether you are blue pill or you red pill immediately. And she would throw in a lot in the conversation. She would throw in a lot of tests with you. And she will say a lot of random things because she's evaluating you in that first few minutes. Some people say, well, in the first 5 seconds, somebody, no, shut up. This is Morpheus. Cut that dumb stuff out. Oh, this is psychology. When you shake hands with a person, outside 5 minutes, you know everything about them. Get out of here. But save that for your professors and your colleges who like programming the next college students to be the next morons for the future. Morpheus don't program people like that. I tell you nothing but the truth. Okay, shut yourself down and stop the nonsense. Not here. This is for those who need their light bulb turned on. You can turn off light bulbs somewhere else. Go to your indoctrinated systems. You do that there. They do that quite well in efficiency there. Not here. In the first 20 minutes, at least, tops. Okay, which goes on. It can go on to 30 minutes. But after about 20 minutes or so, she already know if you are a blue pill or a red pill through conversation. It takes more than 5 minutes to have a really, really, really good conversation. To get into the personal, to get into the highs and the lows of life. It's going to be at least 20 minutes at a minimum. Okay? When she start liking you, then you start getting to the zone of 30 minutes to 45 minutes and so forth. Therefore, it becomes a waste of time after that. But still, she knows who to pick. She knows who to go to. She knows who she's going to lay down for because she knows what she's going to get out of it. And especially it's going to be some future IOU. So what will happen, man, is this. You would wonder why a woman would show up at your door. She'll spend time with you for a little bit and she'll leave and you never see her again. Or there's a classic thing that a woman would say. She'll say, I would never donkey dunk with you. Right after about 15 minutes. And you don't know why she said that. She would say, I'll never donkey dunk with you. Because listen, here we go. When you are a red pill man and you have standards and ground, she will know that by your conversation. She will know that you're not a simp, and she will also open up her ears to the fact that she cannot get much, if not anything, with you because you have a standard of value.
that she is not willing to line up with. She wants you to be like a blue pill, easy to go guy who's going to fall over heels for her and do whatever that she wants him to do. Okay. And she can use her wiles on you. She can use her ultimate power on you. So therefore she would choose you. So it's not always good if a woman say, sure, let's go. Okay. Oh, I found one. Yes, let's go donkey dunk. Come on. Grab your hands. Let's go. Can we go out for the weekend? Sure. Let's do it. Because she knows the blue pill. She knows the guys who are, who is marriage material, which isn't really a good thing. You think it is. It's not a good thing. She said, oh, you're a nice guy. Let's go. You're nice. But she'll give you some IOU up front, because she'll keep you there in that bracket for a short amount of time until she needs to pull your car and say, well, IOU. Can you come fix my wheel? Help me with this refrigerator. Come over here and do this and do that and do this and do that. And there you are, driving out of town, doing whatever that you need for her because she gave you some IOU, donkey dunk, because you're the nice guy. But today, if out of the 15 to 20 minutes, okay, you don't never see her again, she ghosts you, she flake on you, that's because you are, on a general basis, if you are a red pill, I'm not talking about you blue pill guys, some of you, they do that because you're just not man enough, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you do have standards and you red pill and you don't tolerate anything. You're looking for a high value woman. Okay. And you're like, no, I don't like dress code here, dress code there. I expect this and I got this for my future and I'm tampered down. She knows you got options. She know you got a strong backbone. She understands that her power cannot work on you. There you go. She realizes that she can't pull a blind wool over your eyes. She can't come to you and say, oh, yeah, okay, I can overpower you. Yeah, you're going to fall over heels for me. And I can get something out of this guy. She know you can't. She's like, oh, well, no, she knows she can't, not you can't. She knows she can't. So what she'll do is she'll leave. She'll walk away because you're not the guy she can take advantage of. You're not the guy she can use her powers over. So it's actually more of a good thing than it is a bad thing when she never come back. That means you just defeated her. When you stand there, Hakumbu, and your hands on your shoulders, and you telling her, you're like, no, I don't know. I'm not interested in long-term relationships. I don't want a marriage. No, I'm not interested in a child right now. No, I just want to just sit. I know I got things to take care of. No, if you want to spend time in donkey dunk, we can do that for 30 minutes because I got things to do. Nah, baby, I can't do that. I got options. If you don't line up, there's Betty Sue somewhere across the street. I have what's her name? I got Sarah down there, on the south side of town. Okay, there's Amanda over there who's several blocks away, and I don't have to spend, and I don't have to waste my time with you. Either you're going to be real or don't waste your time with me. Don't even knock on my door. Lose my number. Okay. Either you're going to be right. Okay. And line up to what needs to be done if we're going to be a future relationship, or, you can do that with some other guy. You know what she'll do? She'll either stay or she'll disappear. If she disappear, rejoice. Rejoice if she says, well, okay, let's meet up this weekend, and she never comes around. That's because she knows she can't live up to your standards. Some of you may think, well, because she got a lot of options. No, because she realized she can't take advantage of you, and she found out she was able to take advantage of another blue pill scent because you're a red pill. She realized she can't take advantage of you, so she went ahead and set a meeting and a date and a time for some other man that she can use her powers on, and it's not you. So you think you're missing out. No, you're missing out on someone who have intentions of seeing if she can use her power on you. But you just reflected it. You deflected it. The moment you listen to, when you listen to red pill providers, when you are listening to MGTOW, okay, when you are listening to men who are warning you, when you are listening to coaches who are coaching you through your struggle, when you are listening to real men telling you, listen, brother, marriage ain't the way. Don't do this. Watch out for women this way, that way, that way. And when you standing in front of her and you begin to tell her, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm too serious. I got things to do. I'm taking care of myself. I got options. As a matter of fact, I got somewhere to go in an hour from now. So if you're not trying to do anything within this hour, okay, get gone. Okay, she realizes that she's messing with something that she cannot handle. She's messing with something that she's not going to line up to, because in her mind, in her consciousness, she'll be looking at you and say, okay, if I'm going to be with this guy, I have to line up to his standards. If I'm going to be with this guy, that means I have to wear his shirt, hat, shoes, and his badge in order to sign up for his business, his personal business. Okay, but a lot of them, they realize they can't do that. So what she'll do is she will leave and go to the next person that she can manipulate, where she don't have to wear his hat, shirt, clothes, or badge, because he don't have any standards. He's as lax as days go. If you think I'm wrong, look at some of the men that women choose. Look at them. Look how haphazard they are. Look at how unstable they are. Look at them. Look how they dress. They walking around and just all raggedy, right? And she's standing there like, oh, this is my boyfriend. The reason why, she don't have to better herself. She doesn't have to line up to his principles, because he don't have any. He don't have no values or standards. All he cares about is, well, look, ooh, look at my pretty girlfriend. That's all I got. Ooh, she's beautiful. Look at that fat. Ooh, ooh. At least I got me a girlfriend. Ooh, I got somebody for Friday, Saturday, probably even Monday. And he don't care. He's not thinking anything about the future damages that could possibly happen. And 9 times out of 10, that's the man that she'll have a child by. Because what was her intentions? To use her powers and get what she need and want. And guess what happens? He's nowhere to be found. You find her out 5, 6, 12 years later with a 12-year-old child, right? Like, where's old dude at? Oh, he was no good. As if she didn't know that when she met him. As if she didn't know that he was blue pill when she first met him. As if that wasn't her intentions when she first met him. Because if it was her intentions to, listen, if it was her intentions to keep a man, okay, she would have been with the red pill guy. If it was her intentions to provide a father figure for the son or daughter, she would have lined up to the program of the man's principle, so she can provide mano y mano, positive, negative, yin and yang, female nature and male nature, estrogen and testosterone, to build a balanced family. So she automatically knew what the consequences was going to be like 5 years from later, being with this blue pill guy that she was able to do what? Use her powers on. That's a wonderful red pill, isn't it? I know it is. Now, for my negative neos who are always in the back of the classroom, throwing paper airplanes and not listening to the class, I'm going to address you only in a couple of minutes, and I'm going to end this audio log because some of you just quite don't understand. Years ago, I myself was a blue pill. I was one of you can call me a master blue pill man. See, I believed in, here I go, I'm using that word for the lesson here. I'm telling you this based on that time. I believed in Superman and Lois Lane. I believed in being a hero. I believed in being the white knight and servicing women with my every being. I was the guy who would open up 5 doors for her and wouldn't care if she opened up no doors for me. I was the guy who would lay down on a puddle face first and let her walk on my back to get to where she needed to be. And no, not only was that type of guy, it's worse than that. But you would think it's good, but to me it's worse. I wanted to help people. I wanted to provide a means for everyone. I wanted to don a cape and fly around America and just be this gesture dude. You know, Jesus was my
role model during that time. He was somebody that I wanted to be. Everybody wanted to be a doctor, nurse, firefighter, officer. I always said, I want to be like Jesus. I want to do those type of things and feel like I'm a hero, right? So, it didn't quite work out that way. It didn't quite work that, because one thing that came into my life that you must all understand is called knowledge. It's called knowing thyself. It's called going into history and figuring it all out. Once I began to sit down and evaluate my directives, okay, I began to see me as a different person, as a different entity, right? I was able to question my means as to why I'm doing what I do. Okay. So what I did was take myself through training, deal with my life with experience, and allowed myself to be ran over several thousand times until I learned my lesson. I was the one who ran into a brick wall 150 miles per hour face first, and probably said ouch a few times and rubbed my forehead and got up and did it all over again until I learned my lesson. But the good thing about it is my concern for people have never faded. My concern for you has never passed. So when I talk to you about things to better yourself, it's because I really, truly do care about you, because the hero spirit have never left. Me wanting to help people will never go away. If I ever said I love you, I really mean it. It's not something, Morpheus, no. I can tell you to your face that. I can really be honest with you and say that I do love you. It's a true concern. It's truly, just listen to my audio log. The fruit is in the pudding. The fruit is in the pudding. You got 80 something videos and audios. I think it's around 70, 80 something already. You got a book I made for you, and it's all about making sure that you are succeeding. See, my idea is that when I leave Earth, okay, I want to leave a positive impression behind. I want to know that you're going to be okay. I want to leave you empowered, where I have made a positive impact on the lives of as many people as possible, so that way you would never, ever say that nobody truly cared, that there was no such thing as somebody who have compassion. This is a crazy world. Nobody cares about people. People they're just out of their mind, right? I want you to know at least I've done everything that I could. Therefore, I can leave with positive seeds that's going to grow and blossom for the future. So therefore, there is no intentions whatsoever to cause dissension, to hurt anybody's feelings, to downgrade you, to be stupid about religion, to be stupid about relationships, to be stupid about the country, to be stupid about whatever that I do. That's not the intentions. If somebody's rubbed wrong, or if something is given, ill properly, if I say the wrong word, if I say something that you just don't understand, I don't mean it to be where you don't understand, because all I'm trying to do is say, hey, let me help you. I just want to give you something that you probably already have. But I want you to get it in a different version that's going to uplift you, so that way you can have a bright future. And I said before, if you have a bright future, if children have a bright future, if there is going to be a future where families can come together, if there's going to be a future where we can get this right, put the mythical idea behind and be the gods that we truly are, be superior that you're supposed to be by now, advance and not de-evolve, I know I have done my job on earth. I have known for this to be effective for many people that I come across. So I know that I could do this. So therefore, if you have any misconception or misunderstanding of what my boss is, who is Morpheus's boss? My boss is nature. Nature tells us what it is for parents to be together. Nature tells us about our gender. Nature is the one that has a proper directive of how the home should be aligned to produce a brighter future, because even nature is telling you how the country is being disruptful from the inside out. because there is no whole family like it used to be, nor promoting a whole family where there is man and woman there. It's all distortion. You can get mad all you want to. You can be a progressive thinker and well, I'm a single mother and I can do it. I'm a single father. I don't need a woman. I got all this idealism based on trying to manipulate nature. You can manipulate nature all you want to. Nature is the boss. Nature is the true form of God. It has no face. It's neither man nor woman. It's nature. Nature will tell you at the end of the day what time of day it is. Nature's the one that's going to pull the whip on your back, whether you like it or not. You're going to have to love it, whether you like it or not. Nature is the one who's going to guide the future forward. Nature is the one that's going to say yes or no and going to stamp your paychecks. Nature is the boss. So when I talk about relationships, I'm not talking about trying to be some, when I say something about the feminists, or when I say something about how women correct themselves and how they think, oh, I'm black and independent, I can do it all about myself. I'm talking about nature. I'm coming from nature's standpoint of view. Whereas you can only do that for so long, where nature will tell you something differently when you look at the correlation with what's going on in the Western civilization and why family is distorted now and our children have no future. No future. Their future is going to be plastic, blow up, robotic female dolls. That's their future. And y'all not understanding how deep it is. Their future is going to be robotic, plastic cars that they can't drive themselves because they ain't got no sense to drive it, because they're going to be too distracted by dumb phones and dumb thinking. That's the future, because we believe in transhumanism and myth. And we call ourselves human beings, but we're making ourselves underneath being human. We're underhuman. Or some people say inhuman. We got inhuman thinking, when being human means you're thinking natural. So you get upset all you want to and think it's Morpheus' opinion. You need to talk to the boss. I can introduce you to the boss. The boss is nature. The boss is the order of nature, which says, hey, the power, the bulk leads, the supporter, the comforter is the one who is the support, to be the second rider, to be there to support. Like you have the executive, you have the boss. You have the boss, you have his advisor. Then underneath that, you'll have probably the, the follower or the adjuster, which have a position of their own. So normally you will have father, mom, daughter, or son. You have grandpa, parents, daughters, sons, and so forth and so on, then the offlings. No one is saying that someone is better than the next person. Nature provides a means where we all have a position to play by nature's rule, because nature is God. Nature say what we can do and what we cannot do. Nature is the one to make you lay there and have a child, not a man, even though he partakes in it, and it's also his gene. And when you have a child, it's his child as well. So it's not, I carried this child for 9 months, it's my child. No, it's his baby. It's his genes. It's his life as well as it is your own. You're the one that was tasked by nature to carry the child alone. But he has to bear the labor as well. It's nature that tells men and women where they belong, not amalgamated, mutated thinking. You can think all you want to. You can take a poison pill all you want to. You can nip tuck all you want to. Nature is going to rear its head eventually. And when it does, it's all over. Because you can't stop nature. You cannot stop something that is naturally born and bred within you, which have nothing to do with your indoctrination. You have nothing to do with your professors. You have nothing to do with your Catholics. It got nothing to do with what you think and how you feel. Nature don't care about your feelings. Nature is going to be itself at the end of your clock. So therefore, it's the boss. So whatever position that you think that you want to be in, it don't matter. Nature's going to put you where it wants to put you at. You can name yourself all kind of distortions all you want to. Be different all you think you are. Nature got a different plan for you. Nature's the boss. That's who my boss is. If you don't like it, too bad.
This is Leon C., aka Morpheus, and I'm all about the red pill and the empowerment of my people in America. And yes, I wear a cape, but it's black. Get that book, 2020 America Rise and Fall Hard. Like, share, and definitely subscribe.